The scriptures disclose that God invites man to reason with him, Isaiah 1:18, and the fact that the Creator endowed man with faculties of reason shows that it is proper that man reach a conclusion by process of reasoning in harmony with facts and authority which cannot be disputed. Moses was a learned man, learned in all the wisdom of the Egyptians. Acts 7:22. Moses records the fact that God spoke to him and directed him to go into Egypt, saying, "Thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, I am hath sent me unto you." Exodus 3:14. I am means the everlasting one, not the one who was, nor the one who will be, but the one who is. The great I am made known to Moses his name Jehovah, and that this was the first time his name was thus revealed. Exodus 6:2 and 3. The general history of the humankind could well have been known to Moses, even before God revealed his great truth to Moses and before Moses was selected to go to Egypt, because of the following circumstances and facts, to wit: Adam was the original man from whom the race sprang. Adam lived 930 years and lived 300 years of that time after the birth of Enoch, a man whom God approved. Enoch was the father of Methuselah, who lived 969 years. Noah was the third generation from Enoch. He was a grandson of Methuselah and must have received much information from his grandfather. Genesis 5:3 through 32. Noah was 600 years old when the flood came. Genesis 7:6. Being devoted to Almighty God, he would certainly gather all the information he could from his forefathers, and hence would have a very accurate account of the race from Adam to Noah's day. That information he would transmit to his sons. Noah and his sons came out of the ark together, and Noah lived 350 years thereafter. Genesis 9:28 and 29. His son Shem lived 502 years after the flood. Genesis 11:10 and 11. 2 years after Noah's death, Abraham was born, and therefore Shem and Abraham were on earth together for a period of 150 years. It is reasonable that Abraham would learn from Shem the facts concerning the human race, which Shem had received from his forefathers. Abraham bore the title of Father of the Faithful. And since knowledge is necessary to faith, Abraham must have had as a basis of faith the necessary knowledge from the creation of man until his day. Isaac was the beloved son of Abraham and would no doubt receive faithful instruction from his faithful father. Thus, the favorite son of Isaac was Jacob. Genesis 28:5 through 14. Jacob had 12 sons, and he bestowed his greatest affection upon Joseph. Evidently, by the Lord's direction, Joseph was a man of great importance in Egypt and would be widely known by almost all of the people of Egypt, and particularly by the Israelites who resided there. Only a few years after the death of Joseph, Moses was born. When Moses became a man, he devoted himself entirely to the Almighty God. It is only reasonable that Moses was thoroughly familiar with the history of his forefathers from the time of Adam to his own time, when God called him to be the deliverer of the Israelites. From the human viewpoint, as shown by the facts and circumstances, Moses was amply qualified to write the history of mankind from the beginning until his own day. Intelligent men have natural tendency to keep a record of facts and events, and it is but reasonable that Moses had a fund of information duly set down to be passed on to other generations. So much from the human viewpoint. None of the testimony mentioned here will be accepted by evolutionists or higher critics who have no faith in God. The fool hath said in his heart, there is no God. Psalms 14:1. A person does not need to say in words, there is no God, but by his own conduct or course of action, he discloses his secret thoughts. All visible creation testifies to the indisputable fact that there is a supreme one